keep happening.
Hello, hello. I'm Carter Mason, CEO of JTS.TV. I'm here with Chris McRonnie, Justin Turnbull, and Krista Anderson of The Last Fall of Ashes. How y'all doing?
Fantastic.
Great, great.
Right on. Krista and Justin, say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Well, let's start with, I'm just going to go like the way it is on my screen. I don't know how it looks for you. But hey, Chris, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was born and raised in Toronto, in Ontario, here in Canada. And about 10 years ago, I moved out to Vancouver. And didn't really think about pursuing the acting stuff anymore. But lo and behold, I met the right people and got back into it again. And 10 years later, here we are. We're making web series. It's a medium that's easily accessible by anybody to be putting stuff out there. So yeah, just happy to be here.
Ooh, right on. And you just well, we can talk a little bit about what you got going on a little bit later. I want Krista and Justin to introduce themselves. Tell us. Talk. Ladies first.
I was born and raised in Vancouver. I'm a local actor. I've been acting for about 10 years, and while I've been acting, in order to actually make money, I've also been working at my parents' metal shop, oddly enough, a heating company. So, yeah, I've just been plugging away at the acting thing here, and it's been a slow but hopefully kind of steady work thing. And Last Fall of Ashes was my first major project that I've ever worked on, and feel pretty lucky too.
You did fantastic. I love it. So, good job.
Thank you.
She was amazing. Yeah, I'm Justin. I was born in Alberta, moved to BC at a young age, moved back to Alberta, and the West Coast was always my home, and I never thought of acting or being in the film industry as an actual career. I was always passionate about it. And then a year into my welding apprenticeship, I realized, like, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And so I was looking at film schools, and I found Vancouver Film School. And it was here on the West Coast, and it all just kind of lined up perfectly. And so in 2010, I moved out here with my wife and started school. And last fall was my first project out of school, so I feel very lucky and to get on something with such great content right away.
Awesome. Why don't you guys share, in any order, whoever wants to go first, how you came to be involved with Last Fall? Like, was it just a casting call? How the audition process? Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, I guess I'll start. I was doing a short film with a friend of mine, and Aaron was AD on the project, and he worked with him on the set, got to know him. He didn't really mention anything about his project at all, and then the day after we wrapped that, he sent me an email saying he has this project and if I'd be interested in audition. Their auditions are in 2 days, and he sent me 72 pages of the script. I sat down and read it from start to finish and emailed him back and said, absolutely, I love the story. It's very character-driven, and so he brought me in, or he sent me the sides, and I came in the next day and auditioned for him.
Right on. Right.
Yeah, so it was very quick and kind of just out of the blue. It just so happened that lead actor on the short kind of backed out last minute, and the director pulled me in, and so it was all kind of like circumstance that I even met Aaron, and so it could very easily not have happened, So I feel very lucky that it worked out the way it did.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've been talking with a few people lately. It seems like that whole, like, what would have happened if you didn't meet, excuse me, if you didn't meet this person, if you didn't go to this event, like, how your life would be so different. It's just funny
Yeah.
how things just line up sometimes.
Yeah, it's so true.
So, Krista, how'd you get involved?
I saw the original posting on Vancouver Actors Guide because I check it regularly, and I remember seeing it and being seriously interested, but I think I was away at the time, and so when I normally respond immediately to those things, I kind of put it off, and then by the time I got back and responded, I found out later that I actually responded about an hour, or was it 15 minutes before the post came down. So they were quite shocked to get my submission, as I was to hear later that I was so close to the deadline. And yeah, I came in and I auditioned for them, and I think same day he handed me the rest of the script. He said, "Can you go away for an hour, read the script, and come back and do more?" And I was like, "Absolutely." It was exciting, but obviously well worth it. So it's good.
Right on. That's cool. That's very cool. What about you, Chris?
For me, I didn't know like the extent of the project, but I had a friend of mine, Krista, who was working on a TV show with Aaron, and he had mentioned to her that he had something written and that he wanted to create a trailer to promote a feature, and that he might be doing some casting at some point. So she had sent him my headshots, and he was interested, and she told me that she would tell me more later when she had more info, and it was probably about a year or so later she contacts me again and tells me to get in touch with them, but it turns out that I had already applied through Vancouver Actors Guide as well to audition for Last Fall of Ashes. It was called Ashes at the time, and yeah, through happy circumstances of someone knowing who Aaron was and me applying to audition, we made it happen, and yeah, that's how I got on board.
Sweet. And we should say Aaron is Aaron Winteringham, the creator of The Last Fall of Ashes. And he couldn't be with us tonight, but he's going to join us for another hangout in the future. He and I are going to set something up. I don't know if maybe you guys will come back too. I don't know. This is all your first Google Hangouts, right?
Yeah.
This is it, man. You're popping our cherry here.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool. So tell me, I'm really curious, like just, there's always fun moments on set, or it could just be a scene that you're shooting. What's your absolute favorite moment while shooting Last Fall of Ashes?
Oh gosh. What can we say? Well, gosh. I have a moment. Okay, we were talking about this the other night. So after, like, for people who don't know, we shot a series of trailers for Ashes, and then Frostbite ended up coming on board, and we shot the rest and made it a web series. It wasn't initially supposed to be a web series. It was trailers for features. So we did the second round of shooting about a year later, and I had quit smoking, and we were doing the scene, me and Chris, and he just dropped me off after the poetry slam, and we're kind of just shooting the shit outside the car, and I said to Aaron, like, I feel like Dane would be smoking in this scene. Like, Michael was smoking, Dane would be smoking, because he smokes throughout the series. And so we agreed that I'd smoke, and we only had real cigarettes. So I thought, I'll take one for the team. Smoke a real cigarette. And, well, of course, when you're filming, for people who don't know, you shoot it multiple times. So I ended up smoking like about 8 cigarettes, and I just got so sick, and I had to do a scene with Krista right after, and I believe we had a kiss in there. Anyway, so I come inside.
Kiss or a make-out scene, whatever. Same.
Yeah. So I came in, I got so sick out there, finished the scene, came inside, walked past Krista, and I was just like, I gotta go throw up. So I went in the bathroom, threw up because I was sick, and then came out and shot my scene with Krista. I don't know.
So really, I took one for the team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Krista took one for the team. Yeah. I don't know if that's a moment, anyways. Putting Chris.
How awkward is it? You know, a lot of people that aren't in the industry, you know, they have a lot of questions when you're doing sex scenes or makeout scenes. Was it awkward for you guys at all, or you're just like, yeah, it's the biz?
I probably should feel more awkward about it, but I don't. I don't know. I definitely took advantage of the fact that I was so overly maybe comfortable with it, because I had to do a lot of topless scenes, so naturally wardrobe gave me pasties to wear. A lot, and they became kind of like part of my everyday wardrobe on set. It was always make sure that Krista has her pasties, and they were just the regular nude-colored ones. They're really boring. When I was on a shopping trip with one of the wardrobe ladies, we went to a lingerie place and we found some really cool skull and crossbone ones, which were actually, you know, more my style. And so when I was filming a scene with Justin where multiple takes, I had to take off my shirt and push him down on a bed. I used the regular pasties for the first few times, and then I asked to go to the washroom really quickly, and I was like, I just need to go to the washroom. I came back and I changed the pasties so when he falls back on the bed, and he was being a gentleman up until that point and not looking down, and then he couldn't figure out why everyone on set was laughing, and then he finally looked and saw that I was wearing skull and crossbone pasties. So that was my one and only prank on set that I was quite enjoyed, and I've kept the pasties ever since. It's a good memory.
They're on her bathroom mirror, so when you look in her mirror in her bathroom, everybody has a pasties.
Yeah.
I heard, I can't remember the famous actor, but an older actor, the story is that he did a sex scene, and he looked at the actress and said, I apologize if I get aroused, and I apologize if I don't.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Sorry if I do, sorry if I don't.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, there's definitely some nerves going behind it. I mean, like for our experience, for me and Krista, it was the first day of shooting. We had to do intimate stuff. So, you know, we had known each other, like Krista was saying, probably for a matter of hours in total when that first day came. And, you know, the stuff that we did is what you see in the opening of episode 1 and a clip that you see later on. But, yeah, so that was, you know, nerve-wracking. But at the same time, I think it just made all of our bonds a little stronger because we had to trust each other, right? And we had to be confident and comfortable with one another. And I think that's what led to the more powerful performances that came later on in the web series, just because we were one, you know, there was some synergy there now.
And I think it helps to have a really good sense of humor about it, because in between our very intimate love scenes, we were able to joke like.
I think
people were shocked at how much we were joking in between these pretty serious scenes that we were doing, but it helps to do that.
Yeah, it's a way to deal with it, is because you are, you know, there's a little bit of nerves for me going in, and just like how comfortable am I going to be doing this? How comfortable is she going to be? But as soon as they say action, or even before, like as soon as you you drop into character and the moment, it's gone. And then like Krista says, like, you know, they'll call cut, and then you just look at each other and you're both like lying there topless or nude, and you just can't help but laugh because you just experienced this together. So yeah, it's interesting.
I personally was well prepared for it because the acting school I go to, my teacher is constantly throwing us into those situations, so I felt 100% prepared. I think these guys had way less experience than I did personally.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I showed them the ropes. I taught them how to do it. So it's all good.
She's a great leader.
Well, we kind of went off on the makeout tangent there. What is we didn't get to Krista or Chris's favorite moment on set?
I did. I told my pasty story.
That was your favorite? That was your
one of my favorites.
Got it.
One of them.
So Chris.
So for me,
was that also the pasties?
Yes, they sent me pictures. I was like, this is awesome. No, you see, whenever there was stuff that they had to do on set, the other actor wasn't allowed to be around, right? So we respected each other's space throughout the shooting of it that way. Plus, if we were all together, it would have been more fun joke time than serious. Let's make some film. But I know I had a series of favorite moments as well, but a memorable moment would have to be shooting the rain scene with Krista, episode 5. Just the intensity of having to be out. It was what month was it? It was winter. It was cold outside.
November or something.
Yeah, it was cold outside, and it wasn't like we were getting warm water thrown on us. So it was pretty intense. I think in the moment when you're freezing cold and you're trying to get through it, you're hating it. But when you look back on it and see what was created and what a good time it was, because you don't get to have those experiences all the time. So to me, that was really a great moment. And then, a scene that I did with Justin, because we didn't have a lot of huge scenes with each other, I think, throughout it. But there's one major one where I think we had a lot of fun that day doing.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, so none of you guys knew each other before last fall, right? Some of you had connections to Aaron, but nobody knew each other besides that, right?
No one knew each other.
And now it seems like you're all friends. Is that accurate?
Best friends.
Forever.
Yeah.
I work with Chris. I work with Krista.
If I work with, he means work for.
I work for
he works
Krista.
for me.
I see.
Yeah.
How does that work?
She makes me wear pasties every day.
It's the only way he's allowed to walk around the shop. But I think that this project created a bond and a friendship in between us that you don't often get when you work with people on film. Sometimes you work with someone, get to know them for that period of time, and then it's over, and you don't talk to them again unless you see them on set. And this is just one of those unique situations where we try to make a point of seeing each other and hanging out, and we're always supporting each other in what we're doing within the film industry. So it's great.
And it helps to have like the festival circuit, because when we get to do that together, and like Justin couldn't come, but Chris and I went to LA together, and I think that was a huge bonding experience for us to be able to share in that. That was
definitely cemented our friendship.
Also,
right. Well, I could definitely tell, and when I went to Vancouver Web Fest and got to hang out with you all in the, in your hometown there, you could tell you guys were all friends and liked each other, and it was a cool team that you guys had with Aaron and everybody else too that was there.
For sure.
Yeah, because a lot of like this spanned over 2 years.
3 years.
Like 3 years. Give it like with the festivals, like almost 3 years. So. Yeah, we've spent a lot of time together over the last 3 years.
We've been through a lot together.
So when it finally launched on JTS, were you just like, finally?
Yes.
Oh, Carter, you have no idea. We wanted it out there. We wanted people to see it. We worked hard. We had an amazing crew, independent crew, cast. Aaron worked his butt off, and we were just ready. We were ready, and
I think
the fans were ready.
People were starting to think that it was a myth that we were talking about this show, because every time we talk about it, they're like, yeah, but how can we watch it? It's a web series. How can we watch it? And so it was pretty difficult to go many years without being able to show anyone anything. So trust me, this is a huge thing for us.
Yeah.
We love JT.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's nice to get it out there and to have the support from you guys that you've given us, behind the project and getting the word out there. It's amazing.
Well, it's a fantastic series, and we look for the best of the best, and I think that Last Fall definitely fits into that category. It's an amazing series. You guys all performed brilliantly. It was a great script. It was, shot beautifully. It's, it's definitely up to our standards, and it's what we wanted, and felt like it should be it should have a home at JTS, and I'm glad that it worked out that way.
Awesome. Yeah, amazing.
So what are you guys working on now? Anything new? What's going on?
Where were you, Justin?
I just got back from the Cannes Film Festival, actually. I went there with my business partner Hayden, we decided that we were ready to take the next sort of jump in the industry, and so we got a short film in there, and we went there with some feature films, and we're trying to shop around some feature films. Anyways, we've been back for a couple of weeks, so we're just working on getting our production company up and running, and yeah, we're trying to get our feature film made. We're hoping to go into pre-production in July if everything works out. And yeah, so it's been really busy. It's been kind of non-stop for the last 2 weeks, but you know, I like it that way. It's fun getting to do a little more of the business side of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically been taking up my whole life.
I'm getting not tired of doing the business side, but that's about all I do. And I'm also an actor and writer, and
Yeah.
I've got all these projects that I want to do, and I'm like, I have no time. So I just wish, I did one scene in a movie last year, and it was like 2 lines at the end. It's my friends. It just got on Netflix, and people are like, oh, we can watch it now. Where are you? I'm like, all the way at the end. You gotta watch the whole thing.
That's good though. Good for you.
Thanks. So
It's finding that.
Oh, go ahead. What's
I was
that?
just saying, it's about finding that balance of because as an actor, it's easy sometimes to wait for it to happen, and I don't want that. I wanna make it happen. So it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, you can't really wait in our industry. You've got to be active, and if you're doing nothing, then nothing's happening.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's easy to get complacent with where you are.
That's why I've had such an amazing experience. The last 3 years, I've been touring these web series festivals, both with Georgie and these guys for this show. And this last year, I was actually at the same festivals, but for my show, The Girls Guide, that I act in, and just being at these festivals has been such an amazing source of inspiration, because you're constantly surrounded by creators, and it's definitely changed my point of view. And I agree, I'm the same way. I've gotten to the point where I want to start creating my own, and I've started writing things, and so it's kind of I'm on one hand writing. I'm stalking the director of The Girls Guide to try and make her do a season 2, because we've got some fans that are demanding it, and I'm demanding it. So that would be really amazing. And oddly enough, which people that know me will know that this is quite crazy, but I'm going to be doing a play in a month. I'm going to be doing theater, which I've never done in my life, so it's terrifying, but probably a good thing that I do it. So yeah, I've got kind of like a variety of things going on, but yeah, come July, I think it's going to be a busy month, so I'm excited.
Nice, sweet. So Chris, what about you? What do you got going on?
Yeah, and for me, really, since working on the project, I've had an opportunity to work on another web series called The Actress Diaries. Had an appearance or 2 in there, and I've done like student web series, for VFS, and most recently, I've just been really just trying to put myself out there, trying to get on to independent projects, and I do want to start writing eventually and work with some people on that aspect of film. But I've been fortunate enough in the last few weeks to do Untold Stories of the ER, which now shoots out here. So that's awesome. Yeah,
Right on. I've told you, but nobody watching knows this, that I'm also an Untold Stories of the ER alum. I did an episode when it was in LA. I did an episode.
Yeah, that's awesome. What was your episode?
I forget the name of it. I have to look at my resume. I played. I also did Mystery ER, and so sometimes.
Yeah, you were saying.
But no, Untold Stories, I played a crazy guy who he ran his truck into the ER, and then when people ran out, he said he'd been shot, and they get him on a gurney, and they get him all the way into the ER, and then he says, they can't find the bullet, and he says, I can prove it, and he pulls out an unfired bullet and says, here's the bullet. and so he was just nuts. And
Hey, Chris, tell us what your last role was.
Well, it hasn't aired, so I can't really talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shoot.
It's a good one.
Sorry.
Make sure you tune in. It's a good one.
Those who are close know, but
I can't wait to see you do what you have to do.
it should be interesting, to say the least. There's 2 different episodes. One I'm a medic, and then there's one where I'm a patient. But yeah, we'll see in the next month or 2 when it airs. We'll have lots to talk about then, I'm sure.
Well, going back to the series, we talked about your favorite moments on set or as part of the shooting, but what's your just favorite maybe moment in the series, like for watching, like when you watch it, when you go back and watch it? What's your favorite?
Wow, that's a loaded question. There's so many, right? It's so hard to pick one. No one wants to offend one another. We've never done a scene all together. We can't pick one.
Yeah.
I love it.
So everyone's trying, okay, so who do I pick this time? That's tough. That's tough.
We call it burnt onions. Obviously, the audience doesn't know what it's called, but the scene. No offense, Chris. I'm not saying it's my favorite out of everything. I'm just the first thing in my mind. Between Justin and I, and it's which episode is it?
Episode 5.
Episode 5, where he confesses to me that he's found out what I've been hiding from him, and it's the scene in the kitchen. I don't know. It sticks out in my mind. I think just because of the way that we were actually filming it was very kind of. It was very raw the way we were filming it, and it felt that way. I think it was the first time that we really had to get really real with each other and, bring out the intensity for Justin. And I don't know, it's just something about that scene that kind of stuck with me. It's the kind of scene that I would love to do over and over again in so many different ways, because there's so many different ways it could have gone. But I think it was really cool because it was handheld. The camera. Sarah Leapy, the camera was like literally right there the whole time around us, and we had the entire crew in the next room. And I just remember somehow being able to get into the state of mind that we needed to, just the 2 of us, and there was just a lot of privacy, even though in reality there wasn't. We were able to find privacy within each other, and I think that was because it was a while into the filming, and so we'd already established our friendship and our bond, and so it was really neat to be able to get to that point in life, and then be able to do a scene with an actor who you've become such good friends with, and be able to go there together and discover new things together. So I think for me that was a really, really fun, although it's extremely depressing scene, it was a really fun scene for us to do together.
Yeah.
I would talk about the rain scene with Chris, but he's already talked about it. That was
that was a good scene too. That was a really good moment. I think for scenes with Chris, the rain scene for me was one of the top moments, aside from like day one on set and having to get over a serious hurdle of just being comfortable with one another in those kind of circumstances. But I'd have to say for Justin and myself, I think a fun day of shooting would be the day that me and him had to do a lot of our driving scene stuff together. I think we had a really fun day driving around. So personally, for me, that day was fun. But scene-wise, I'd have to say at the Poetry Slam in, I believe it's episode 2, when we first meet. I think that was a really fun night for me to work with Justin and do that scene where we first met. And so that's what it is for me.
Right on.
Yeah, with Chris, it was fun because that was actually the second time that we shot that scene, because we shot it for when we did the trailers originally, and then when we went back to shoot the rest of the web series out, we reshot that scene. I thought it was kind of fun to play with it twice, because you get to go back a year later and sort of revisit that moment of when Michael and Dane first meet and what it was like and all that.
Mm.
And I have to agree with Krista that the burnt onions in episode 5, and then even following that in episode 6 with me and Michael's confrontation, just because,
Yeah.
those are the funnest scenes for me to do because they're the hardest scenes. Because, like, at that point in the story for Dane, like, everything's just falling out from underneath him, and he's just, totally lost, and everything that he believed about, this woman that he loves and his best friend is just, a lie, and so when he confronts them about that, it is really, difficult in the sense to go to those places, because you have to be able to go to those places personally for it to be authentic for your character. And so just the challenge of doing that for me as an actor was very satisfying, because then when you come out at the end of the day and you see the final product and you can be happy with it, you realize that all the hard work that you put into the story and your character has paid off. So for me, those are the most memorable and best experiences for me.
Awesome. I'm curious, now that the show has been out, are you, what kind of feedback have you gotten from friends, family, fans?
I think overall positive, at least on my end and just from the general public. It just overwhelming positivity, and it makes us feel good because we've waited so long for it to come out, and we've worked on it for so long, and like we said earlier, it started off as just trying to be a trailer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to see the efforts that we put in over the years eventually, manifest itself into a 6-episode web series, and now we're on JTS, and the world can watch it finally. There's a huge sense of gratification.
Nice.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. You hear from a lot of people like it's heartbreaking, but and they like it. They think the performances are great and the writing's great. And it's really cool to hear because, when you're able to make an audience feel something, that's, success, right? So even if somebody says, yeah, like the performance was great, the cinematography great, the writing was great, but, it's heartbreaking, like, it's like, you feel like you did your job if you can make somebody feel something or learn something about themselves. So the feedback's been positive on my end as well.
Yeah, and I think because it's a web series, but it's a dramatic web series, which people still are getting used to. It's a new concept in a way, and it's, everyone says a harder sell, but I think kind of almost not a bigger reward, but it's a different reward for us to kind of get that people are shocked when they see it, I think, because of how dark and gritty it is and where we ended up going with it. I think that's what's really cool, is that it's very unexpected for people. And me personally, for my character, which I was really not expecting at all, but people have contacted me, whether it was people that I knew or not, but they contacted me through Facebook and Twitter to actually, to say thank you sounds obnoxious, but to kind of, say that they were really excited also sounds weird, but to see a character, or my character, that they could relate to, that they've had drug issues themselves, or people in their lives that have had drug issues, and that actually touched, my character was able to, and the story was able to touch them in some way in their lives. And you really don't expect to hear that kind of stuff at this level or in a web series, but it's so cool to think that when you don't really know where the show's going to go, and just to get even a few comments like that, that's a huge thing. For an actor, but also for our show, to know that people are connecting on that kind of level. That's that's incredible. And I mean, that's how I felt when I read the script, and the fact that there was so much that I could relate to and draw from my own personal life or my family or friends, and so it's not surprising that people are connecting to it that way, but it's really nice when they actually reach out and tell you that, and that they've actually been affected, you know, to that point where it actually gives them some sort of, I don't know what the word is, but you know what it's extremely humbling. Yeah, it's great.
Well, you know, you can tell your friends and family now that if they've been too cheap to pay the subscription, we have a 3-day free trial, and they can watch it easily in 3 days, the 6 episodes. We may be able to...
all too cheap. That's true.
Yeah, it's $3.99 is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, don't get a latte one day, guys. Come on, just be serious.
Put the Starbucks down, Dad.
Exactly.
You don't need it.
For the record, my dad will not watch this, by the way.
I don't want her dad to watch this, by the way.
Right.
Boss.
Your dad signs my paychecks right now.
I showed it to my mother. You know.
Oh, my mom will watch it and she cries her eyes out, but my dad won't go anywhere near the thing.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
What'd your mom think, Chris?
My mom loved it. She's a sucker for love story and heartbreaking stuff. So she really enjoyed it, you know. And then there's always that, you know, you feel she's biased because you're her son. You know, when you're someone's child, they're not going to tell you that was garbage, you know. But I feel confident enough in between everyone else's feedback, including my mother's, that what we had was something really great and wonderful. So
cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, time is kind of running out. We don't have a set time, but we're over a half an hour, so we should probably close it up.
Sick of us, don't lie.
What's that?
If you want to get rid of us, just tell us.
Fine, that's fine, Carter.
I would keep talking.
Or what?
I'm just curious. You know, Vancouver has a very vibrant industry, of course. LA people sometimes feel like you're stealing our jobs, but I don't feel that way. When I was in Canada, I just looked at the single girls and said, "Will you marry me?" I want dual citizenship. So. No, do you have any? Is there any draw or temptation, like, to try to move to Los Angeles, or do you just feel like in Vancouver you've got everything you need? There's a vibrant industry.
I think, I don't know, for me personally, I think Vancouver has a vibrant industry. There's always the allure of going to LA, and I don't know, I think that we have enough of a grassroots industry here in Vancouver that as actors we can grow here. We don't need to go to LA, really. I mean, that's some people's prerogatives, and, you know, God bless, go and give it a shot, right? Everyone needs to try something out. But, you know, comparatively, it's a smaller pond, and why not try to be a big fish in a small pond than a big fish in a gigantic pond out in LA, right? Everyone's trying to do it. So, you know, when LA actors are worried, or the industry's worried about us stealing stuff, yeah, a lot of productions come up here, but at the end of the day, on those productions, we get the one-liners. And it's the guys in LA that get flown up and all the expenses paid to have a role on a TV show. So we're still fighting the good fight in our own country. Mm-hmm. So at least film here. Give us a chance to say a couple words. You know, don't be too greedy, or let us into the country. You know, give us a green card.
Yeah. I think I used to say that I never wanted to move down to LA because I was just realistically too chicken shit to ever do something like that. But now that I've actually been to LA a few times, I feel way more comfortable there. I honestly am 100% saying, like, it's not that I'm not drawn to that idea, it's just that I just so love the idea of being able to create a career in my own city and grow with the industry here. And even though I know that there's, like, major ups and downs here, I mean, there is everywhere, so you can't really just, you know, pin it on that one concept. And I just as I love the idea of growing with this web series community, it's kind of the same thing. I love the idea of making my way through the Vancouver industry, whatever that means. I mean, as long as I can just be a consistently working actor here, because that's who my mentors are, my acting teachers. They all work regularly, and I admire them so much, and I would love to be a part of that with them. And I would love to, be a part of a show that maybe took me down to LA or took me anywhere else. But ultimately, this is where I want to live, and I want to establish, my career here. I think that to me is, my ultimate goal. But don't get me wrong, I would love to film something down in LA. That would be sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no, if I was asked.
Yeah, I'm going to turn that down.
No, I think I'm just going to stay here and work on my career. But actively pursuing wise, why not? Why not be here? Why not be home?
Right. But if you got a series regular role and they said, oh, it shoots in Los Angeles, you wouldn't turn it.
I'm on a plane. I was on a plane yesterday.
Do you have that? What do you mean? What is?
Well, that's probably how I feel like, because I still do some acting. Is that I love Los Angeles. I'm from Indiana originally, but when I moved out here, I felt like it was home. Like my friends asked me, "Did you have culture shock?" I said I had culture shock for 23 years, and now everything's normal. I love it in Southern California. But the part of me that acts, and I can move the JTS offices wherever. I'm the CEO. So.
You own. Do what you
if Continuum season 4, wanted to cast me as a regular, I'd move to Vancouver.
Why not?
For me, I think LA is definitely some place that I'll go.
I will go.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like when I got out of school, is kind of like these guys have mentioned, like. Vancouver's a great place where you can build your resume, and and then you can go down to LA, or I want to go to New York as well. I'd love to move to New York, hopefully work there in a few years. But I thought about it right after school, but then I'm going down and I'll just be like every other, new actor moving to LA, whereas I wanted to stay here, build up my resume for a few years so that when I do go down to LA, I have what I feel as a little bit of a head start, maybe than some of the people that are coming there with nothing on their resume.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a bonus to have stuff on your resume already, and if you've booked jobs on television or feature films that are shooting in Vancouver, that's a major plus if you are going to transplant.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, hey, before we sign off, you guys have anything you want to say to your fans? Anybody that might be watching?
We love you.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Love you. Thank you
for supporting last fall. And I love you as well.
You too? Me?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? I love you too. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. You're a fantastic cast. And I love the show. As soon as I saw it, I knew we wanted it. And so I'm really glad that it worked out with Frostbite, and Aaron was down and wanted to be on JTS.TV. It's fantastic. We love having it, and looking forward to more and more people seeing it now that the entire series is now out.
You have to, if you haven't watched it yet, you really need to just sit down and watch it from 1 to 6. It's 6 episodes. You can do it in, I think it's just over an hour, and you will not be disappointed. It is a really good story.
It's dark and dirty and sexy and gritty.
Sex, lies, and betrayal, baby. Oh.
Yeah, thank you very much if you haven't checked it out.
And Skull and Crossbones pasties that you can't see.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're there, though. They're there.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for doing this. This will be up, for sure, for at least a week. For anybody, if you want to invite people, and anybody watching, if you want to say, hey, go to other people, the same link that you're watching on, now will be available for at least a week. And then we may pull it down and make it bonus content just for our subscribers. We've talked about doing that before. It may stay up, it may not. But if you watch within the next week, you can definitely watch. So tell your friends, you know, hey, you can check this out. We talked about the show, and we had a good time. I think this went really well. You guys shared a lot of cool stuff.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks so much, John Carter. Appreciate it.
for having us.
Thank you.
You.
All right.